Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely, and with me today, of course, is co-founder of The Gaggle, Peter Lavelle, also host of Artie's talk show, Crosstalk. Well, today, the New York Times, of all places, published a very interesting long article by one of its better journalists, Kenneth Vogel, who many people will not remember, used to work at Politico, and in January 2017 wrote a very interesting article about the Ukrainian intervention in the 2016 election, an intervention on behalf of Hillary Clinton and against Donald Trump. Of course, that article was quickly forgotten amidst the Russiagate hysteria about Russian interference and so on. It briefly was resurrected during the impeachment hearings, but Vogel kind of, neither stood by his article nor disowned it. He was off doing the usual New York Times bit. Nonetheless, it's clear that Vogel is among the better of the New York Times journalists. What's interesting about this article is that it focuses on some of the people who apparently are going to hold very senior national security positions within the coming Biden administration, if that's indeed what's going to happen. And these people have been becoming very rich over the past few years through two entities. One of it is WestExec Advisors, and the other Pine Island Capital. What exactly they do is kind of murky. I think even the report isn't very clear what actually they do. They have a list of clients that are kept secret. What we do know is that these clients are all in the field of military, national security, cyber intelligence, cyber security. They're obviously paying them extreme amount of money, obviously not a great deal of work, but presumably what they're getting for the money, because people don't just spend money lavishly, they are getting access. And what the reason why they gave money to the founders of WestExec Advisors, who are Antony Blinken, apparently the incoming Secretary of State, and Michelle Flournoy, who is set to be Biden's nominee for Defense Secretary, and I think Avril Haines. I think she's also there. She's the incoming Director of National Intelligence, and on the staff there is our old friend Jen Psaki, who is set to be the White House Press Secretary. So that's
the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. So these people have been, for the last few years, been picking up a very nice little paycheck, essentially providing access to companies that are looking for very big, fat government contracts in a coming Biden administration. What the conclusion from this article? The swamp is back, and back with a vengeance. What do you think, Peter?
Well, again, I have to echo your sentiment here. I was really surprised to see it in the New York Times. But this is something that those of us that have been following these people knew about and know about it in detail. So I'm really glad that it's getting some kind of sunshine being shed on it here. But it really shows how it works here. You're absolutely right. I mean, these people didn't do very much work, but they have a Rolodex and I was going to say a BlackBerry, I guess I date myself, and an iPhone, and that's it, okay? That's their capital investment into these things here. They're basically fixers. And it's just not with the sectors that you mentioned, but it's also with dealing with foreign countries, including China. So, I mean, these people basically help people maneuver. Basically, what they say, okay, you got to call this guy at this time, and he's going to call this guy. That's what they're doing here, okay? It's called networking. That's fine. But if you're going to have your hands on the levers of power, and you're going to be able to do, is your policy in Syria going to be influenced by the arms a company that makes drones. Okay, I mean, I'm just coming up with a hypothetical here, but these things have to pass scrutiny because if you're favoring private interests when determining American foreign policy, there is a huge conflict of interest, and we have a right to know about that. And about the swamp, yeah, I mean, they're back with a vengeance. I mean, the last 4 years have just been padding their paychecks, okay, and waiting for a time to return. And so the conflict of interest now are more glaring than ever before. And you can start kind of drawing some inferences here. We're hearing a very robust and aggressive rhetoric coming out of some of these individuals here. Are you looking for a conflict, or is this conflict in the interest of your clients? Okay, because from what I understand, these are not full-blown lobby groups, so they have a very low level of transparency. So, I mean, it'll be very interesting if the Blinken and Flournoy, if they go in front of the Senate. I mean, that article in and itself is a minefield, a gold mine to ask questions, and that could be just the beginning of it here. So there's a lot of the progressives in the Democratic Party have been warning about this for a long time during the primary.
But I have to say, what progressive? Which progressive? Where are these progressives?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. They're nowhere. I mean, it's like,
I told you this. I told you this is what was going to happen.
That's the thing. I mean, Biden is hiring all these people. None of them has any kind of an anti-war.
Sure.
And just the person who's going to be the director of the Office of Management and Budget. This is a story that broke last night. Will be Neera Tanden. Neera Tanden, who has been attacking Bernie Sanders. I mean, all the mean things that she has said about Bernie Sanders over all the years. So Biden doesn't care about the progressive because
she won't make it through the Senate. I mean, her history on Twitter is, right. I mean, no one can accept that here. But I'll tell you what's in play right here. Okay, you and I, the origins, the reason why we're doing this video is that we have gross examples of conflict of interest if particular individuals are given the highest levers of power because of their personal business interests with people that do business with the government. But, that's a real story, and we're doing it. What's the main story right now? Every person in a potential Biden's comm office, they're all women. Wow, breaking news. I mean, what difference does it make what gender you are if you're influence peddling and selling out the country's national interest? I don't care if you're transgender even, okay? I mean, this is the garbage that they feed you. All the members of a potential Biden comms team are all women. Well, let's break out a bottle of champagne or something. What is this all about?
That's exactly right. And that's why some awful person like Neera Tanden, I mean, what's the story? Oh, she's a woman, not only a woman, but a woman of color. That's it. Let's get down on our hands and knees and thank, Uncle Joe Biden for bringing us a woman of color into this position, and this is a historic first. No woman of color has been director of OMB. Well, of course, this is so. What we know is that, as I was saying earlier, is that the progressives will not make any kind of noise. They will not be in any sort of opposition. All of the things that we've been told about how, Bernie Sanders is going to do this and AOC is going to do that. None of that is going to materialize. They will all duly vote for these nominees. I'm not saying that they're going to go through, and it may well be that some of them won't make it through the Senate. But I will absolutely guarantee right now that Bernie Sanders will forget all the things that she did to him, all the things the insults that she heaped on him, and he will vote for Neera Tanden, and he, who's a ranking member, I think, on the Senate Budget Committee, will shepherd her nomination through. I will bet you any money.
We'll see. No, I mean, I've been watching the progressive media, and it was even a couple of weeks ago that they sounded the alarm. So we have this article in the New York Times that a few weeks ago, some prominent progressive bloggers sent out the warning is that, there's too many lobbyists in there. So, I mean, there's an acknowledgement of it. Will it have any impact? That remains to be seen. But no. It's just because this will be a point of tension for us over the next few months for sure. Okay, but I'm
just saying that the people who think that somehow AOC is going to make a stand, well, she hasn't ever in the past. Why would we think that she's going to do it now?
What I'm saying,
Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders has never done it.
We're in a transition right now of sorts. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at this, George. I'm going to keep a very close eye on it because the Democratic coalition is a lot more fragile than I think you can credit.
And I have to object to that.
Okay.
Because everyone keeps saying that. But the one thing we can say about the Democrats, they are absolutely disciplined. They absolutely march in lockstep. It's the Republicans that are not disciplined. It's the Republicans that don't march in lockstep. It's the Republicans who, the first opportunity they get, they abandon Donald Trump. I say, yeah, we're with you. We've got your back. And then, I think Trump needs to give up right now. I think, for the good of the country. The Democrats are extremely disciplined. And every time we've expected that AOC is going to go against Pelosi and she's going to rebel on this issue or that issue, never done it. Sanders has never done it. Always has followed the Democratic Party. Okay, they're absolutely disciplined. Absolutely, 100%.
Let's do first things first, okay? Let's keep an eye on the Senate races in Georgia, because if the majority remains in the GOP's hands, then we're going to be talking about something very different here, because some of these these appointments are not going to go through. I mean, they certainly won't. There'll be too much. Look what happened to Susan Rice. I mean, they keep trying to make her Secretary of State, but they know that it can't.
Yeah. But keep in mind, in the case of Susan Rice, the Republicans had a big majority in the Senate at that time. This was was that 2013? No, I think I think you're right. That was still 2013. I think the Democrats still, or did they? I can't remember.
No, it was in Obama's second term, so 2012. Okay.
2012. I'm just trying to recall now when the Republicans captured the Senate. May have been in 2014 that they actually captured. So maybe the Democrats still had a majority. No, but I think that's right. I think Susan Rice couldn't get that through.
Okay, well, a kind of in summation here, okay, because we're keeping our laser-like focus on this, as you like to say. That's your trademark now. Let's watch how watch the races in Georgia. I'm going to be kind of interested if the New York Times follows up or other people follow up. I mean, if you can say it in the New York Times, maybe you can say it in some other places.
Well,
let's see what Fox News has to say this week.
That's it. But apropos of what you've just said, Vogel has already tweeted out, sarcastically that, I'm not supposed to write about conflicts of interest with the Bidens. I'm only supposed to write about the ethics concerns with Trump. So in other words, Vogel is already under attack from people.
He wrote that?
How dare you write about...
Vogel wrote that.
Vogel has sent out tweets. So in other words, he's already under attack. How dare you write anything like this? You're only supposed to focus on Trump, the conflicts of interest with Trump. You are not supposed to write anything negative about Biden. So Vogel himself is sort of complaining, hey, this is, this is supposed to be my job. So,
welcome to, yeah. God. Okay. Well, that's the state of our discourse right now. I mean, I think they're going to basically all across America, they're going to have these hate Trump studies departments, okay? Because, they just can't get enough of it, okay? So, I mean, they'll always be hating him, but now they have to find the different layers of people around him to hate, okay?
Right. No, because I think the Biden fan club, they expect stories about puppies, Biden's puppies. They expect stories about Biden's cat. The Biden's household has now got a cat. We do not want news stories. That's right. We do not want news stories about conflicts of interest within the Biden administration. That, that we don't want any of that. If we want conflicts of interest, you write about Trump. So, so that's a New York Times.
Well, let me just be real geeky here, okay? You remember the poet Mayakovsky during and after the Bolshevik Revolution, and his cardinal sin is that he started criticizing the party and cadres within the party, and they didn't have Twitter then, but they had other means to get back at you, and he committed suicide, one of their great poets, okay? Right. And so if you fight the law, okay, right, you're going to get the law. Hey, ask Roger Stone, what's it like to get a SWAT team?
I think that's right, and I think that's and that's kind of what the New York Times has gradually become. I mean, where it was, had some pretensions to be a newspaper with serious reporters. It's kind of degenerated into essentially an anti-Trump rag. So the few reporters, kind of decent, honorable reporters who are still there, like Vogel, immediately get harassed. Well, how dare you write this? And remember with James Bennett, who was the op-ed page editor of the Times, remember a few months ago, when he did what an editor is supposed to do, he published an op-ed by Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. I mean, he did. Look, I mean, the guy's a senator. He wants to write something. I publish him. There was an absolute uproar within the Times. The guy was fired. I mean, James, he was apparently the heir apparent. He was kind of designated to be the next executive editor of the New York Times. Fired for doing basically what you're supposed to do if you're an op-ed page editor. You publish an article by a sitting senator. So that's what the New York Times has come to.
Yeah, even after all of this here, and they've set the bars. I don't know if it's so high or so low in this case here. But this is a perfect demonstration of what they've done to journalism and just the state of intimidation that's out there. I'm immune to it. You're immune to it. Sticks and stones. May break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So keep doing it, George.
Right. All right. Well, as you said, and as I said, we will maintain our laser-like focus on the apparently incoming Biden team and media coverage or lack of. So remember, if you like The Gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.